readers,
reviewers,
countrymen,
lend us your ears.
Good morning and welcome to the channel. Today, the Brothers Gwynne, myself, Ed, and my other self, Will be talking about what books we are looking forward to reading in the month of September. September's a bit of a funny month, isn't it? We're back to school. Well, I am anyway.
It usually is, but this time I have freedom.
You have freedom.
Yeah, so I'm going to be on a gap year before I go off on an adventure to uni. So I'm hoping to do quite a lot this year, but for the first month I'm going to be pretty free, aren't I?
Yeah.
So that means reading, listening, watching.
And a bit more
a variety of
cooking
consuming
for me, waiting until I get home from a hard day's work.
Oh, of course, that's me.
Yeah,
but yeah, so that is September. We're really looking forward to what we're reading this month. You may not be able to read as much as you usually do, but you may get through quite a few more audible books, as we were talking about, journeying to and from school. And so let's get into what we're hoping to do this month.
Yeah, this month we are going to be doing Greek Week. So we've got 5 videos that will be recorded and released between the dates of 5 and 4, between the dates of
the 12th of September to the 19th. So this is going to be a week where it's just completely consumed by videos about, well, it's called Greek Week, so it's all going to be about Greece. We're going to talk about favourite Greek films. We're going to have Christian Cameron on the channel, which is going to be awesome. And we're going to be talking about favourite historical books and mythological/fantasy Greek-inspired books.
And why did we choose that specific week to do Greek Week, Will?
Well, we didn't just pluck a number at random. It's because it is the anniversary of the Battle of Marathon, one of the key dates in history, one of the most important days in the history of civilization and of what has happened to humanity since, alongside Plataea, which is talked about less for some reason, even though it is even more important in some ways. So there we go. We're really looking forward to covering that this week. We've read a lot of Greek themed books lately, and you'll see a few more here. So
yeah, that leads really nicely in, Will, to the first book of the month I'll be reading, which is Fall of the Phoenix by the awesome Daniel Kelly. I'm really looking forward to reading this. It's a tale of Troy, and I've heard that Daniel Kelly's writing is really engaging, lots of fun. I know he's a great chap as well, so I'm sure his book will be every much as good as he is. So yeah, really looking forward to reading this one. I've heard lots of good things, and obviously it's about Troy, so I recently read the Iliad. And hopefully at some point in the future read David Gemmell's Troy series as well. So that's really cool. And obviously, I love the mythology behind Troy and the historicalness, as it were.
We love that word recently.
We do, don't we? And the key characters will be really, really fun to read about. So I'm looking forward to it.
And I'm really looking forward to diving into this. This is, of course, Dune. I've never read it before, even though it's seen as kind of the staple of sci-fi now. And I've got this beautiful edition kindly given to me by Ed, my brother, the Brothers Gwynne, hence we are. I spoke a bit like Yoda then, but yeah, thank you so much for this. It's an awesome present, and some of the pictures in here are really just beautiful. And we're hoping to do a Dune review next month in preparation for watching the film. So I'll show you some of the pictures inside then. But yeah, that's my first read of the month. I think I'm going to be joining the read along on Mike Book Reviews channel. I may read it a few weeks before, but I'll definitely be engaging in the Discord there. And if anyone else is interested in reading Dune, now is a perfect time to do it. So
yeah, Jimmy Nuts recently read Dune. He loved it. Philip Chase is going to be doing a reread. I think Philip only sticks to fantasy on his channel, doesn't he? But I think I remember
he's doing a bit of a sci-fi.
Philip said he's going to make an exception for the wonderful Dune. And yeah, the film will be coming out. Only recently found out the film's only half of the book.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a shock.
I found that out.
I thought it was only going to be one film, but that shows how much I look at the news, I guess. The next book for me then is the landmark Herodotus. Someone tell me how I pronounce them, I'm not too sure. The Histories. So this is an amazing edition that Christian Cameron told me to go out and get if I wanted to be you'll read anything scholarly about ancient Greece. Herodotus lived during the time period of the ancient Greeks, so he's writing about the histories of what happened in that period as well. So I'm cannot wait to read this. It looks like an absolutely beautiful book. It's really well respected, and obviously when it's recommended by an ancient Greek reenactor, then it must be good. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to diving into this, delving and sailing along the seas of this wonderful journey.
Awesome, Ed, and as always, I think you're going to love a recommendation from Christian Cameron. And my next read is going to be Norwegian Wood by Haruki Murakami, and I think it's going to be very interesting and impactful. It's been heralded as a very powerful read, and it's very interestingly named after a Beatles song. We're a fan of the Beatles, and I'm liking the look of some of the themes of this story. I think it's quite emotionally challenging, so it'd be interesting to see what I take from that, and I'm hoping I'll really get engaged with the characters and story of Norwegian Wood. So yeah, another one, a different genre already. So we've got sci-fi with Dune I've picked already, and this is a completely different genre, and we'll be seeing many more that we're reading this month.
I cannot wait to see your thoughts on that, Will, because that is another that is on my list. I believe Norwegian Wood's a film as well. I think they made a film out of it. I have the soundtrack on my my Apple for some reason. So, but yeah, there you go. The next one for me will be Bernard Cornwell's The Winter King. Now, you know that I love this. This is a reread for me, purely because the library of Alan Zandria, the excellent Alan, we've been talking on Twitter, me, him and Will, about this book, and he is listening to it at the moment on Audible, so I think I'm going to listen to it as well. He said it's amazing and he's loving it so far. And it's getting me really excited, and I just thought, do you know what? Why not?
Why not? September. That's always a good question.
It's my birthday month. Let's go wild, and I'm going to reread this trilogy, so that'll be really fun. I'll probably just start with this one for September. Might not be able to get through as much. We'll see. I'm trying not to be too ambitious this month. Because
are you listening to it on Audible or?
Yeah, I'll be listening to it on Audible. I think it's Jonathan Keeble, which he's a really good narrator. So
and we've heard from Alan himself that he is great.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, and we would love to do a discussion with Alan in the future about this trilogy. So hopefully that's on the cards. If he enjoys it as much as we do, it'd be hard to listen to Alan really, butcher the series. But even though, mind you, if I was going to listen to anyone talk about a book that I loved in a bad way, in a negative way, I would choose Alan, because he makes it so fun. And by the end, you're like, that's hilarious. So it's fine. But yeah, The Winter King by Bernard Cornwell.
And as you said, it's your birthday. That is on the 14th of September.
Yeah, I'm 63 years old.
Yeah, of course. Oh. And next I have The King in Yellow. So this is a collection of 3 or 4 short stories, and it's kind of gothic horror, isn't it? And I think you bought this. I'm borrowing your copy.
Alan said it's very Lovecraftian. So.
Oh, okay, awesome. And we were inspired to buy this, and well, you were inspired to buy it, and I was inspired to read it.
You inspired to steal it from my
because we recently read True Detective, and we
found read it, did we?
We watched True Detective with Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, and
I would read a book that was like True Detective.
That would be awesome.
If anyone knows of any books that are like True Detective, I think the writer Nick, I can't remember his surname, begins with P. It's too long for me to remember.
Just say Nick.
I think he wrote a book called Galveston, which I've heard is really good. Someone commented on our video not long ago, so yeah, we'll have to check that out.
Yeah, and anyway, so we watched True Detective, and this is meant to be part of the source material, which they were inspired from. So really looking forward to reading this. Quite short, but I imagine it's going to be quite terrifying if it follows what we saw in the programme. So there we go. Quite a short one for the month, but one that I think I'm going to love as well. And it's going to be very interesting reading some short stories about it. The King in Yellow.
And something else that's kind of a short story, is I think it's a novella, it's about 180 pages, is Ring Shout. So this is a fantasy take on the Ku Klux Klan, the second wave during, I think it's around 1915, around the First World War.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm fascinated to read this. I don't know really what happens in it. Obviously, I haven't read it yet. I don't know what it's about really. I think it's about a group of resistance fighters against the Ku Klux Klan. Do I need to hear any more to know that I want to read this? No, that is enough for me. So I'm really looking forward to this. I've heard amazing things. The cover is beautiful.
Yeah.
Really, really powerful image. So yeah, I can't wait to read this. And it's a fascinating piece of history, and I'm really looking forward to seeing kind of a fantastical take on it. I've really been enjoying reading fantasy seeping into history lately with She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan.
Yeah.
And it's just getting me more and more excited to read books that have that historical flavour with elements of fantasy within. We like Arthur, we love Arthur, and with the fantasy in there, it's really exciting as well. So that's good fun.
Yeah, another one that I've jotted down that I need to read as well, but I'll probably get to that in October time. But now back to me. So I'm going to be reading Pyronessie by Susanna Clarke, the author of Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
Yeah.
And obviously one of the most successful authors of this century so far, even though I think this is the only other book she's written.
Wow.
But they're meant to be completely different, but both very successful.
It looks different from
I
the
watched a
cover.
review. I watched a review by Philip Chase, which is on his channel. I think he did it a few months ago, but I watched it recently and I was like, well, I need to get this. And it's meant to be kind of a mix of fantasy, and it's got a lot of different historical influences as
Jimmy
well.
Nuts actually read it recently.
Oh, did he as well?
Yeah, I heard
Great.
Jimmy say some very positive things about it.
Awesome, and I think that Pyronessie, it sounds really interesting. So I believe Pyronessie is the main character, and there's one other central figure called the Other, because they don't know their name. And they kind of investigate this house, and it becomes a bit of a maze, and they find out that there's someone else in there. And so it sounds really interesting, and something that a lot of people have said have been really impactful, especially for the size, which is quite minute compared to most fantasy books that we've read. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this as well.
Yeah, it'd be nice kind of change to read something small but contained. So that'd be nice.
As you
The
said.
next one for me is A Little Life by Hanya Yanagihara. Sorry,
Not a small book.
really, really poor
Pronunciation.
there. But yeah, not a small book, she thick. But yeah, so A Little Life, I'm really looking forward to reading this. I've heard that it's basically going to destroy my tear ducts. My eyes might fall out because I'm going to cry so much. I will weep so much that I'll have to buy another version of this, another hardback, just so I can actually read the words.
No damaging books.
Exactly. And I
Maybe if you had put it through like under glass.
it's probably a ploy by the author to think, I'm going to write a book that's going to make you cry so much that you then have to buy another copy. So yeah, fair play to Hanya, I will say. But yeah, I've heard wonderful things about A Little Life.
Well, it's won so many awards over the last
exactly.
year, isn't it?
And I'm really, really looking forward to reading this. I've just seen that Edith, our lamb, has actually got at it, has been chewing it. So that's
That
nice
is
of her. So I actually will have to buy
unforgivable.
another edition if I love it, because that's not pleasant, is it? You probably can't see that from there, but
We'll zoom in on the editing.
there's claw and tooth marks, cloven hooves. Anyway,
Sounds like a centaur stampeded.
it really does. It is like that.
And another book I have is The Women of Troy by Pat Barker. So this is, I think this was released this month actually, in August, and it is an adaptation of obviously the Tale of Troy, told from the women's perspective from Briseis, who's meant to be quite
that sounds
cunning,
cool, yeah.
very cunning character. And I think that it sounds so interesting because we've always heard it from either an omniscient narrator or from Achilles' point of view, and we read the Song of Achilles, which is from Patroclus's point of view, and so it'd be very interesting seeing it from the point of view of Briseis, who is
Patroclus.
don't mock the Iliad. Ed didn't like how
Not mocking. No, let's not
No.
say that, because
Okay.
I'll get in big trouble.
but it did irritate you at times, didn't it?
No, I just think it's a bit overused.
A bit
Everyone's
over the
got
top.
like-
But anyway,
But do you know what? It was written a while ago.
that's fair to say. The Women of Troy, I'm reading it now because of Greek Week. I want to get it done before then, so if I love it, I can recommend it. And so yeah, there you go. It's a lovely cover as
It
well.
is,
I really
yeah.
like the blend of
And the
colours.
idea of focusing on the women of Troy as well, especially when obviously the Iliad is written all about the soldiers, the men,
Yeah.
Achilles and Hector and whatnot. So, you know, if you think of the goddesses had such a big part to play in the
Yeah.
Iliad. And I love there was a bit of a focus there, but with the human women, not so much. So
Yeah.
that's one I'm definitely going to add to my list already.
And Pat Barker, I've loved her other work. She wrote Regeneration, which has Sigrid Sassoon, the poet, the World War I poet, as his central figure, and I found that book to be absolutely just stunning, outstanding, and I need to finish that trilogy. She won the Booker Prize for that, but anyway, I'm just spouting loads of stuff about Pat Barker now, so there. The Women of Troy.
And the next one for me will be The Wisdom of Crowds by
Oh,
the
yes.
Lord Grimdark. Now, I have just binged all of Joe Abercrombie this year, and in the month of August I read, I think 4 Abercrombie books, 4 or 5. So that was so much fun, and now I cannot wait to reach the culmination of the Age of Madness, which by all means I'm hearing very good things about, which is very exciting. The way the Troubled Peace ended, I just could not wait to get my hands on The Wisdom of Crowds. It is on NetGalley, so I've requested it on there. If not, I'll just get the hardback, and I'll definitely read it in September anyway. So I will do a review towards the latter end of September.
And I will also be reading The Wisdom of Crowds. I hate to outdo you here, Ed, but I read 7 Abercrombie books.
You hate to outdo me. Yeah,
August.
right.
Okay, maybe I don't, but it's only playful. But this was my first read
How
through.
many books have you read this year?
All right, Ed. All right. But yeah, this was a read. This was a
Yeah.
second read through, to be fair for you. But it's the first time I've dived into the First Law world. And in August, I read everything in the First Law other than The Blade itself and Before the Hanged, which I read at the tail end of July.
Yeah.
But yeah, Wisdom of Crows, I cannot wait to see where this series ends up. Some people have had early advance copies, have said that it's awesome, they're loving it, and it's a great ending to the series, which scares me slightly knowing what Joe Abercrombie's all about, but yeah. We'll see.
And hopefully in September we are looking forward to doing a talk soon with the Dr. Philip Chase and Mike of Mike's Book Reviews. A spoiler discussion of our favourite moments of action, our favourite characters and our favourite general sequences in the First Law, the Standalones and the Age of Madness. So once we read Wisdom of Crowds, that'll be so much fun to get talking with them. We also recently did a chat with Friends Talking Fantasy on a spoiler talk of the First Law trilogy, and we will be doing another spoiler talk of the Standalones towards the end of the month, which will be so much fun as well.
And also 2 days from now there's going to be another video coming out. We can't say what it is, but it's First Law related, and we were just ecstatic. So we'll leave it at that. We can't say anything else, but you'll see
I've
on
developed
Wednesday.
a stutter from my nervousness.
But yeah, you'll see on Wednesday. Now, Ed, next book, what is it?
Okay. My next book is, this is actually an arc that I've stolen from Dad's shelves because the book's not out yet, but it's Empire of the Vampire by the awesome, legendary Jay Kristoff. So I've heard amazing things about this. It's another thick book, which I'm very excited to read. Blade goes to Hogwarts.
Read Jay Kristoff's review of this.
Oh, Jay Kristoff's review of his own book was just so funny on Goodreads. Go check it out. It's full of very, very funny stuff. He's very humorous. He's a very witty chap, it seems. And I'm sure that this is going to be every much as fun as he is as a person. So yeah, I cannot wait to read this. And Dad said it's addictive to read. You know,
yeah.
Dad doesn't read too much vampire stuff, but he said as soon as he read the first page, he could not stop reading, and that's so good for an 800-900 page book.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Very impressive. I trust Dad. So yeah.
Enough said. And also I will be reading Empire of the Vampire in September as well. And Jay Kristoff was very kind to actually do a short pitch of this book for us, which we will be releasing on Friday in the September releases video. Okay, when he was asked to do this, we didn't think he'd actually say yes, because our channel, overall, we are quite small. We love having the following we do, never thought we would. But in the grand scheme of things, with an author as high profile as Jay Kristoff, we never thought he'd actually do a pitch for us. And he said our names.
September has been a very fun month already. And it's August, so yeah.
And it's August. But yeah, there we go. I'll give that back to you.
Thank you so much,
my next one is going to be Tennyson's poetry, but not all of it. We're going to have an upcoming chat with Philip Chase. Again, a lot of Philip Chase recently. He's just so much fun to talk to, and an utter just wealth of knowledge. I learned so much. And we're going to be doing a talk about Arthurian texts soon.
Yes.
And I'm going to be reading Ideals of the King, which is a
amazing poem.
A group of poems, isn't it?
Yeah.
About Arthurian legend and Tennyson's own take on them. And I believe, I'm a bit rusty on my facts of the evolution of Arthurian legend, but I believe they actually caused the re-emergence of the legend in popularity. I think that people thought, that's an old story, isn't it? But then he revived it.
Yeah,
and so,
it would not surprise me. I think just beforehand he had done the poem about the Duke of Wellington for his funeral. The Queen Victoria commissioned that poem from him, so it's kind of an ode to the last great Englishman. Wonderful poem. He was so popular at the time. So yeah, that would not surprise me whatsoever.
And this is another book that I've pillaged from Ed. Sorry.
I'll keep that.
And have you got any more, Ed?
No, I'm done, mate.
Okay, let me power on then. I'm going to be listening to this on Audible, but I've got a physical copy. And this is Heroes by Stephen Fry. It is narrated by him on Audible in an audiobook format. I read the first edition, which is called Mythos Physically, but I've got a lot of physical books to read this month, and I'm sure he's going to be an amazing narrator.
I love the artwork as well on these as well. It's so cool.
You took my book.
Sorry.
But I'm kidding. And again, for Greek Week, this is another read alongside The Women of Troy, and maybe some others will fit in there. And yeah, I think I'm really going to love it. Mythos really set the foundation of the Greek mythological world, and Heroes obviously goes into a lot of the demigods and so much more that I'm really excited to learn about. So there we go. And what else?
So
did
there
I
we
have?
are then. Or
No, I had something else. So I have two more, but I don't have physical copies with me. And one is Spirits of Vengeance by Rob J. Hayes, another release which is coming out in September. And he very kindly did a pitch for us, which will again be coming out on Friday. And also he has sent us an EPUB edition as well, which we will read, or I will read for sure, definitely before it comes out. And you'll be reading soon after, won't you?
Yes, yeah, definitely. Unfortunately, I probably won't have time this month with all the other commitments I have. But yeah.
Yeah, it's
In
the
the
third.
future,
It's the
definitely.
third installment in the Mortal Technique series, but each one is a standalone. I absolutely
Loved
adored
Never
Die.
Yeah,
I thought
so
it was
good.
absolute genius, and I've heard that Petrick actually said that Spirits of Vengeance is as good as well, and he loved this, and so I'm really looking forward to diving in. It's bigger than Never Die, but the bigger the better. And then now onto my last ambitious read of September, and this can be an Audible read again, and this is Lionheart by Ben Kane. I'm really looking forward to getting this.
And who's it narrated by?
Philip Stevens, our
The
favourite
Philip Stevens.
narrator. I've never read any Ben Kane before, which is shameful of a historical fiction reader, but Lionheart
neither,
sounds
actually.
like it's going to be awesome. And Stephen Pacey, not Stephen Pacey, Philip Stevens, you cannot go wrong, can you?
No, not at all. But Stephen Pacey's very good as well.
Yeah, he's great. But oh my God, I said Stephen Pacey again. Philip Stevens. It's because it's Stephen Pacey. And then
Just say
Philip
Stevens Pacey.
Philip Stevens Pacey is, you just cannot go wrong. But now I think that's a wrap up for today. This is our
How many
September
books did you
TBR.
have? What, 15, 20,
I think
25, 30?
You're just gonna get stop.
I just showed you if I can count in 5.
Yeah, I think I had 12. Warming up for my singing later on, obviously. No, I cannot sing. Only in private. But yeah, that is our September TBR. Hopefully you enjoy some of the books we talked about. Maybe you'll be reading something this month. If you are, please let us know. Let us know what you're reading this month as well. If you enjoy this, please like and subscribe. We've got a Patreon in the description below if you want to support the channel. But of course, we love you just watching our videos, and that's enough support as it is. So thank you for watching. Have a great month and stay safe.
And please keep your eyes peeled on the channel for any potential videos coming out regarding the first law.
Yeah, 2 days. Keep it on Wednesday, which is the 1st of September.
The first.
Okay, so Truth and Courage, the Brothers Gwynne.